Hey, what's up guys? Man, nice day today. Started off super cold, 28 degrees this morning when I woke up. Stayed inside, messing around on the interweb for about 3 hours, had breakfast with Jessica, drank some coffee, came out to the shop, started doing some stuff. And one of the things I needed to do was take the injection pump off of Betty's old motor and get it cleaned up and ready to go on a new motor. And some bad news on that. The housing was broken, and so it's not a good idea to use that one. And so in doing some reading, you know, Betty's engine's high performance, 2-piece steel pistons, big injectors, a lot of fancy stuff, dual nozzle piston oilers, high performance valve job, a lot of stuff done to that engine to soup it up. And so I was going to take that pump and put it on and then have a pump made. And then in doing some reading, they say, use a C model pump. One that has 7 Echo 5888 as a part number on it. And that's the one you want to use. Well, that's from a C model Caterpillar, 3406. And I was wondering if this engine was a B or a C, because it's right on the cusp. And I don't really remember which serial number swings it to a C from a B, but apparently this got a C pump. It's in the right prefix to be a C, so this is probably a C. So what we're gonna do is, rather than try and take that injection pump off while the motor's in here, this truck needs the motor out anyways. So today, while I'm waiting for some parts to get here, and basically waiting for some energy to tackle a job I gotta do on 13, I figure we'll take this hood off, get it set over there in the hood pile, get all these accessories off, get them up in a tote, get this engine out, get it on the floor in there, get this injection pump off, run it up north tomorrow, drop it off to get rebuilt. And while we're up there, we're going to do a little ECM work on 12. And yeah, so let's get started. Let's get this hood off. Let's get this cooling pack out. Let's get some of these things out of here. This engine doesn't have a transmission, so we'll probably just drain the oil, take the pan off while it's in the truck, because that way we won't break it when we take it out. We'll get this motor out, get it on the floor in there next to the B model. And while we're under there, we'll take a peek and see what's wrong with the bottom end. I imagine it's all wiped out. I think this engine was starved for oil, which could have damaged this injection pump. We'll see. Let's get started. Let's get this out today. And let's get it done in a couple hours, right? Because there's plenty of daylight left, plenty of stuff that has to be done. We have to take the injection pump loose on Franny, change out some O-rings that are leaking, pressure wash that engine. Tons of stuff to do. We're waiting on fittings for Fiona. I put the fan belt on today, the alternator belt on today. That old alternator charges just fine, which is cool. I also put the brake pedal, the new brake pedal and brake valve and some plumbing in there. Got the throttle. It'd been soaking in diesel fuel for 2 weeks. That thing's all loosened up, put back in and working. So now we can control brake, throttle, and clutch from inside the cab. That's good. But anyways, let's get after it. You know, if you worry about it, just duck it. Just throw some duct tape on there. It doesn't matter that duct tape's not waterproof. Just throw it on there. And you know, just keep wrapping the whole roll of duct tape. That's all you need. Got some broken wires, just duct tape it. No problem. So let's get all this ridiculousness off of here. We'll get these connectors undone. Looks like we just need to fix a couple of wires in this one. No big deal. You know, it is kind of nice that they taped it up, but you know, I wish they would have used rubber boot and some electrical tape, but it's all right that they didn't. We're gonna clean all this wiring up. This hood's in pretty good shape. A couple little spots. It's been hit right here, caved in. We'll get that metal plate off. We'll get this chewed out. We'll get this bent back in there, and we'll fix that up. I really need a fiberglass guy who's good at fixing hoods. I got a bunch that need fixed. But for now, we're just gonna get these electrical connectors undone. They're in pretty good shape, surprisingly. Looks like we got a little bypass done on this one. No surprise. This one is really stuck in there good. All right, so we are gonna have to unhook those. We'll worry about that later. It looks like just jump past one connector in here. We'll get a look at that. We might get a new wiring harness, we'll see. But we'll get some tools out here. We'll get this off, we'll get that one off. We'll take the bolts out of the hood, and we'll take those straps down, let this hood down onto the forks so we can get in there. And then we'll move it around the other side. Let's get the forklift out. All right, so we're just gonna widen these forks out a little bit. Then we'll put a pallet or something on there so we don't scratch up this grill. Not that it's in the best of shape, but it is actually in pretty decent condition. So we got that hood over there. It's amazing how big the hood is once you get it on the ground. I mean, it's just amazing. It's huge. Now, I don't know how many of you guys are from around the 80s and stuff, but when I was a little kid, my dad would have a radiator that needed fixed, and we'd take it to a local radiator shop, and the guy'd be like, so what's it out of? Okay. I mean, what's its problem? Oh, you just want to go over it, get a look at it. Okay, good stuff. I'll get her down in there, boil it out, and we'll pressure check it for leaks. And if it's all good, we'll paint it up, and you can pick it up. $40, because you know it'd take a guy a couple hours. Now you call a radiator shop and you'd be like, hey man, I got this radiator, what's wrong with it? Well, I don't think anything, but you know, could you boil it out, clean it up, paint it? Oh no, I don't do any of that. He goes, that I'll be able to take the tanks off and rot it out, but then we don't paint them or nothing. What? Whatever, dude. All right, to it. All right, so what I'm gonna do is, I'm just gonna put you right here. So what I'm doing is, I'm just taking a couple of minutes and I'm gonna go over all of these things that I'm gonna have to touch today. And I'm just gonna spray them down with some penetrating oil. And even these things that I'm not gonna touch today, but I'm gonna touch eventually, needs new cones for the hood to set on. Bottom radiator hoses are how you drain the fluid on these. And then underneath the radiator itself are a couple of big bolts. Might as well shoot those with some lube. This thing might have to come out, so we shoot that with some lube. And then we'll shoot these engine mount bolts with some lube, and as well those back there. But the most important ones are the ones that take the radiator out, because that's what we're doing first. All right, so this is a set of square sockets, and they're snap-on. And I highly, highly recommend them if you're going to be doing, well, anything at all that might require you to take out a square plug. I recommend having a set. They're not that expensive, and they pay for themselves the first time you use them. Yeah, I think that was the 90s. Okay. So the bad news is problem with these wrenches is they're going to be too big, too fat to fit in there. So we're going to have to use crescent. Yeah. Oh boy. I got it. Didn't think I would. Thought for sure it was gonna have to get cut off. Bad thing about these little ratchet wrenches, they work good. The problem is they're super tiny, and so there's not a whole lot of leverage. So getting them started sucks sometimes, but then once they're going, it's not so bad. All right, so we're going to take this one off. This one's going to go the other direction. So we have to be ready for that. Trying to rescue all of the fasteners as they come off. That one didn't come all the way down. I thought it did, but I'm not really sure. Oh, there it is right there on the spring. And all these fasteners are going to go in one place. All right, so we bought this strap, Tractor Supply, and we bought these spring hooks, and I think they're probably going to be okay for lifting radiators and heads off and stuff. Let's see. Yeah, that ought to do it. Then we'll throw the track mat down, trackmat.com. And actually it isn't anymore, it's just Amazon and search for track mat. I don't know what happened, if that company got bought out or, you know, pushed out of business by cheaper manufacturer or what happened, but let's see. Let's go down there and just see what's up. What's flicking over there? Oh, my lighter. All right. I think it's quite a bit bigger than 3/4, which is really weird. I mean, I don't know why you'd need anything bigger than a 3/4 to hold the radiator into a rubber mount. Okay, almost. Yeah. All right, so what that means is we've got to put a wrench on the top. And you know how a guy gets a wrench up on the top? One never knows how he's going to do it. And so, you know, it's just another one of those ill designs. Might be able to get a wrench, regular wrench in there. Let me get some. All right, so we're going to try this. I don't think it's going to come off though. That's not going to do nothing. I'm not sure why. I think I had one radiator bolt on Betty did the same thing. So get the torch out. You missed it. But a couple of minutes with the rosebud and it was good to go. So there's that. Aren't you glad you missed it? Let's see, now we need to get these off. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna take this hose off. Okay, we're gonna take this hose off. Okay. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. I think we'll be good. I'm not really sure what's going to happen here. we're going to just put those fasteners down there. I'm going to go straight up with that. We're going to get this hose off over here. We're going to have to be a little careful of the shroud. All right. I think we got one more thing up here, a couple more. Yeah. Okay, this one can stay. This one has to go. All right, so we got to be careful of the shroud. You know, we might have to take the shroud off. I think we'd be better off if we take it off. All right, now we should be able to leave the shroud behind. All right, looks good. I just don't understand this. Thing's leaking a lot of oil. I don't understand this mount. I mean, what good is that? Who thought that was a good idea? Seriously. I think when we put it back, I think we're going to we're going to take this bracket off and clean these bolts up, get new ones in there, maybe weld the tops, I don't know. But, you know, the radiator's out and that's what I wanted. Oh. All right, so we're gonna get under there and we're gonna get after that oil drain plug. Looks like it's gonna be 1/2 inch, so we'll just go right at it with the 1/2 inch impact, because we already know that's what it's gonna take. Let me see. I need to get a 100-foot air hose reel that bolts to the building. So I'm tired of toting this one in and out. And yeah, otherwise Okay, so that's not coming off. Just in case that actually did come loose. Yep, it did. When we get this oil pan off, we'll that oil is horrible. Yeah. But anyways, once we get this oil pan off, we'll weld a bung to this bung and then get it out, we'll replace it. So while we're doing this today, I got a water pump in. I bought a water pump for Betty, and then I used it on Fiona. And so I told my cousin to get a water pump. He said he did, but then he didn't. So I don't know if he thought I meant an oil pump or what, but so I ended up getting a water pump today. And I also thought he got the injectors. I put some 87, 85s, or 85, 87, 87, 85, 85, 87, I don't remember. 87, 85, OR 87, 85 injectors. And that should bring that motor right around. Then we're going to put this C pump on there. So we get this C pump tuned up and ready to go. Probably take a week. So I'm going to try and drop it off tomorrow or the next day, and I'll have my cousin bring that motor over and we'll put it in Betty and get my electrician guy is supposed to be here this weekend, and so maybe he can get most of the electrical working in that truck, and then by the time he gets most of the electrical done, I should have the pump back, and yeah, bing bang boom, Bob's your uncle. Hopefully that's how it works. All right, so I'm going to take this down there with some sockets and we'll knock that, we'll get that oil pan off. And this time I'm not going to break the pan. I'm actually going to make sure, I'm going to check a few times to make sure we got the oil pan bolts all out before we knock it off with my foot. Break the pan rail. You guys want to see what lack of maintenance is. Look at this sludge. Look at this sludge in here. Let me try and get the oil cleaned off of the metal. You can see this large chunks of metal in there. But yeah, this motor definitely lack of maintenance. I mean, I don't know why a guy would do that to a truck engine, but I guess it's because they just don't care. You know what I mean? They just don't care. It's not theirs, and they just don't care. Too bad it was a really nice truck, and lack of maintenance killed it. Took it out of play. All right. Ouch. bring this pan down. This is my last good one. So it's so crazy the amount of sludge in this pan. Okay, so you can see the sludge and the buildup of crap in the bottom of this pan. There's a drain plug right here in the front. It's packed full of dirt and crap, and then you see how thick this sludge is. It's 1/8 of an inch thick just on the bottom of the pan. And I don't know about you guys, but when I take an engine apart and I look at the pan, I want to dump the oil out, and I want it to actually get the oil out. This is a 1/4 inch down here of sludge just coating the whole pan. I mean, it's deep and gnarly, and the only way to get that is, and you know, there's not any water in it because it's not milky at all. It's just sludge from 100,000 miles of the same oil, maybe 200,000, and then just oil on top of it. It's just as nasty as it can get. I mean, that's just gross. And just from cleaning it up, because I'm gonna clean this pan completely up to reuse it, and I want to be able to put it up in the pallet racking. So anyways, guys, moral of the story is change your oil. There's a service interval. It's in the owner's manual, and it's not 200,000, I promise. So we got a little bit of a needle bearing in there and some bearing material. I'm guessing the needle bearing is probably out of a lifter, and just got a lot of ferrous metal on that magnet. Non-ferrous, I guess. I don't know. I don't remember. You guys remember which one was which? Is it ferrous? Is it non-ferrous? Which one's magnetic? Anyways, we could just say we got a lot of iron on the magnet. It'll sum it up, you know. All right, this is a good oil pan. We need to give her one more wash on the inside, give her a nice wash on the outside, and this is worth a couple $100. That thing had a secondary filter in it. We may keep doing that, or we may not. This dips down for the oil pump ring gear. Anyhow, let's put this thing inside and move on. We're gonna get after getting some stuff out of the way. We could pump all this oil into the oil drain pan. Might do that today. We got to get the all the oil pan bolts off of it, and it's full. It had a good 12 quarts of oil in there, an easy 12 quarts. We're raining a little bit down on the asphalt off the oil pump pickup. We'll get a little bit of oil dry under there. We had a little nest going up in the shroud area, which is pretty typical. We get this engine out, we'll pressure wash this frame. So what we have left till we pull the engine is we got lower rad tube, front motor mount, side motor mounts, fuel lines. We'll probably take the hydraulic pump / power steering pump off. We'll probably leave all the other accessories on because I'd like to have this engine sitting there as a guide for putting all of those things back on Betty's engine. And so if I have this, I'll take the oil pump off and the pickup tube off, wipe that down. We'll set it in there on some blocks, and then we'll use it as a guide for plumbing in all the stuff. And we'll have once we get it out, we'll get it out. I don't know if we'll do it tomorrow because I got to go in the morning and do some stuff. So I don't know if we'll have it out tomorrow. Thursday for sure, it'll be sitting on the floor in the shop. Hopefully before it starts raining we can get it in there. And it's not supposed to rain for a couple days, so hopefully we can get it out. Like I said, there's just going to be these rear motor mounts, the oil pump and pickup first, rear motor mounts, front motor mounts, hydraulic pump and stuff off, intake piping off and exhaust off, and then we should be able to just snatch a hold of the couple lift hooks, pick it up over this radiator support, and shuck it out of there. Now see, the nice thing about the Marmon is the radiator support was lower than the cross member, where on the Freightliners they got this rad mount up here. Now we could pop out these couple of bolts to take that rad mount out, but I think what we'll just do is we'll get these crossbars out of the way and the air intake stuff out of the way, snatch a hold of it with the forklift and just pull it right out over this. And then once that's done, we can get in there with the pressure washer and make it all sparkle buggy and get a little coat of paint on there. You know, I'd like to say that I got a motor to go in here, but I don't yet. And so I might turn this thing up on the bell housing, and I might not either. I might not do anything with this motor, but get that pump off, leave this motor sit with all the accessories on, and move on. And there was talk of putting an AV92 in this truck at one point in time. I don't know if I want to do that. This thing had self-adjusting slack adjusters on the front, and then they eliminated the part that does the adjusting. It's nice. So it's got a long travel on one side, a short travel on the other. That's cool. I like that. That's super cool. But we'll fix all that. It's got the wrong steering column in it. We'll try and get a steering column out to the farm and put the right steering column in there. I got glass. I'm trying to get my glass guys to come and put glass in it. I bought a new rubber for this one. But what we'll do is we'll do the windshields in 12 first. And if it doesn't require a new rubber for that, then we'll use the new rubber for this truck. And we'll put new glass in those two. And 13 needs it as well. You know, it is what it is. Man, I could talk for hours about how hideous this job was, but it's whatever. I might get underneath there and take that oil pump and pickup off real quick. We still got a little bit of light. Then we do got to get this stuff picked up. Can you see me down here? I think you probably can. Kind of far away. Get all these fasteners and put them in a specific place for this truck. I think what I'm going to do is get this coffee can, put all this stuff in it, and then just put this right inside the truck. What do you think of that? There ain't really a whole lot. There's a couple of bolts, a couple of nuts, and then all of the oil pan bolts. Let's slip under there, see what we got. All right, so I think one, two, three. I think I'll wait on that one. Put these two up here. And if I remember right, when you take this elbow off, you get a face full of oil. Of course, that would be the case if the oil pump was working, but we know it wasn't, so we don't have to worry about that. Is there a bolt holding that in? Nope. Oh, nice. Super cool. All right, let's see. Okay. Oh, I see. Oil pump pickup was broke. That's cool. And then I think, is there a bolt that holds that on? I want to say so. Yeah. You think maybe that oil pump pickup broke, stuck to the bottom of the pan? Or do you think that was just a fluke? Okay, yep. Whew. I'm not sure, did oil just jump into my ear? Nope, that noise was fluid in my ear. I think I got an ear infection happening. Not really sure, but there's definitely some fluid inside my ear, because I just heard it crushing around in there. Pretty gross. All right, so we're gonna use some of these rags to mop up a little bit of this oil. And then once we get this oil pump off, which this oil pump's heavy, and as soon as I get this next one off, it's gonna want to fall on my face. Okay. All right. We'll get a look at that oil pump. This thing smells like a dog. I don't really understand that. We're going to put these right in that bucket as well. And then we're going to look at this bottom end. We're going to put these bolts in this rag. I'll get my hands a little cleaner, and then we're gonna grab a light, and I'll bring you down there with me, and we'll get a look. All right, so yeah, we're gonna just come down here, and we can see the mess that's involved here. And then up in there is this is the bottom end of the motor. And crankshaft looks a little dark. I don't see any bearing hanging off of there. Now, the other motor had bearing hanging out. This motor is going to be too hard to turn over because it's got injectors in it. I had the injectors out of the other one, but it doesn't look horrible. You see a piston up in there, piston oiler right there, and connecting rod is a good color, and that main cap's a good color. The crankshaft looks a little dark, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. This one looks fine too. We may grab an impact and pop that main off and pop that rod off and just see what the bearings look like. I know this engine was starving for oil because it didn't make any oil pressure, and I cranked on it a lot. What are these rods? OR 3780. Those are Remand? No, I don't know. NATO, NAD. I don't know. They all look the same. I don't know what that is. It's interesting. I wish I could roll it over and get a look. It really doesn't look bad in there though. I mean, I've seen worse. Maybe we will stand it up on the bell housing, take this plate here, this stiffener off, and pop off some rods and mains once we get it out of here. All right. I'm really surprised actually. I don't know. I don't know what was causing it to be down on oil pressure. The oil pump pickup bracing was snapped off, so I guess it could have been slouched down to the bottom of the pan, and maybe it was just, you know, maybe it slouched down into the quarter inch of muck in the bottom, and maybe that's why it stopped making oil pressure. But I think the motor's hurt. We won't know until I get it apart. I'm not going to take it apart until I get it out of the truck, because I don't think we can save the motor the way it is. I think it's going to require a rebuild. I'll get some oil dry down here and try and sop up a little bit of this mess. Well guys, man, I must be getting slow in my old age, because I thought I'd have this engine out in 2 hours, but there was a lot of little miscellaneous stuff that had to come out to get the radiator out. Plus we had the one bolt that was not cooperating, and I chose to take the oil pan off in order to avoid breaking it when I take the engine out. So there were some things that kind of got out of control. And but here's the deal. So here's the thing. The thing is, here's the thing. This thing's ready to come out. We're going to take a couple of braces off, the braces that hold the, on the Freightliner and the Marmon spreads, and probably a lot of other conventionals. They have these tie bars that go to the firewall, and they hold the top of the radiator, because usually the hood will pull on the radiator, so they tie it all in. Seems a little futile. The guy should have just made some bars that, you know, catty cornered to the frame instead of all that, but whatever. I didn't make it. Nobody called and said, James, how do I make these? They just went ahead and did it without me, and that's fine. So we'll get the exhaust off, we'll get all the air intake stuff off, and the 4 bolts that hold the engine in, we'll take the hydraulics off for the power steering, and then we'll pop it up out of there. We've got everything off the bottom. We'll get it in the shop, we'll get it up on some blocks, and we'll use it as a map to put Betty back together. All of this stuff is the same, AC and all that stuff, and all the hosing and stuff. Sensor should all be real close to being the same. This is a C model, not a B model, which is good. It's got a stronger crank, stronger bottom end. Looking at the bottom end, you've seen it as well. There's really not a whole lot that I can see is wrong with it. So eventually we'll tear it apart and see. Maybe we'll, you know, maybe we'll get away with throwing some bearings in this thing. And yeah, I doubt it, but let's see. We might. Maybe we'll get away with throwing some bearings in here, and this motor will be right back in this truck. Who knows? But let's get it out of here tomorrow or Thursday, and that's it, guys. Thanks for coming. Like, comment, subscribe, share, tell a friend about it. Check out the store, jamespretty.shop. Buy some merch. We don't have any X merch out there yet, but it'll come. A lot of you guys have been asking about this truck. A lot of you have been asking about Crystal, so it's time to get after it. I know I've got other stuff to do. I know that. But I'm waiting on parts, and it's a perfect time to just get this motor out. We're going to be putting the motor in Betty later this week. I'd like to have that truck be able to start and drive up out of the shop. I'm not going to rush it. We'll see what happens. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you. We'll see you.